Hello, my lovely, lovely people. My name is Kate. I'm a hypnotherapist. And this video is for everyone who is freaked out about their health. Health anxiety. A huge issue, especially right now in the last 2 years. I think the level of health anxiety went up so much. I feel like almost every second client that I have is struggling with the fears for their health and what's going to happen to them, and they overthink the symptoms, right? Because health anxiety is the variety of symptoms, both mental and physical. The physical symptoms are so real that they feel like they need to go to the emergency room because it hurts. They are in pain, and they get very upset and very frustrated when the nurses and the doctors are telling them in the emergency room or at the family doctor's office that it's all in your head. You are healthy, go home and work on your anxiety. This is very frustrating for them because there is an uncertainty. It's like they're going to the emergency room, they go into the doctor's office, they want the answers. But anxiety, no one has the answer for you but you. Every single mental struggle that you have, whether it's small or big, starting from just worry, ending up in PTSD or complex PTSD, the answers are only in you. Any therapist can educate you, can try to help you, guide you to find that reason, yes, but the answers will always be within you. That's why when, for example, I do hypnotherapy sessions, each session is different, completely different from each other. All the answers that my clients find out about themselves are completely different. So, there are some patterns, there are some guides, but definitely you don't know what the person is coming through, what the person have gone through. So all the answers for the health anxiety are within you, right? So usually health anxiety comes from the fear of getting sick, fear of already being sick, right? Or just like a possibility to have an illness, a temporary illness, because it can be hereditary, right? Like, for example, you're afraid for your kids' health, or you're afraid that your parents had this disease or illness, and then you can have it as well, right? What are the symptoms of anxiety? The symptoms of anxiety is like you are overthinking any abnormality in your body functions. So usually people with health anxiety, they only think about their body. They usually are not that concerned about their mind. They don't want to go into the mental industry field and to figure out, because that's too complicated for them. It's better for them to fix the symptoms of the physical body. That just take the pill, take the painkiller, or start taking the medication that you need, supplements, or treatment, and that's going to be resolved. But health anxiety is both. It's both. And the first one that you need to address is your mental health, is your mental health that is sitting in your subconscious mind and is giving you all of these symptoms of health anxiety. So usually people with health anxiety develop social anxiety. They don't want to go out. They don't want to contact other people because they're afraid they can get an infection. They are afraid they can get a virus or whatever it is, right? So they develop the social anxiety as well. People with health anxiety and fear for their health can Google the symptoms, this evil Google. They can Google the symptoms and look for every single symptoms they might experience. And the more you read about it, the more symptoms you develop because you are thinking about them. And your mind, and this is a knowledge gap that we are closing right now. Your subconscious mind doesn't understand imaginary or real. So if you're thinking about tumor, your mind understands that it's real. So it can give you real symptoms even if you don't have a tumor, right? But the more you think about it, the more often you think about it, the more these thoughts, the more symptoms they create, right? So visiting doctors, one of the symptoms of health anxiety is people are visiting doctors asking for different tests. They are anxious when they are waiting for the results of the test. They are getting frustrated with the doctor when the doctor didn't find anything. They can be really upset. They start to complain about the doctor to the doctor, right? So all of these things are happening for sure. Also, they are fearful of people with some of the illnesses. They don't even, when they see the person who is sick, that can trigger their health anxiety as well, right? Especially if they have been looking after their terminally ill parents, when their parents or grandparents died of some, cancer or heart attack, right? The person can develop a health anxiety because on top of the grief, that they have grief, that they are, they are missing the person and they're losing the person, right? They are already forming the belief, or it can happen to me all of a sudden, right? People can be very obsessed with genetic illnesses, right? So they're like researching, is this in my genes? Did my mom have it? Did my dad have it? And the more you form those beliefs that your parents had it, then you're gonna have it, you amplify, you intensify. And even if there is some of the illnesses that are genetic, you're switching on that gene. Read about epigenetics. I might be making a video about epigenetics and what it is, but technically you're activating the gene. So it can be activated by your thoughts as well as the environment around you, right? So many people with health anxiety have, OCD, right? Obsessive disorders, both mental and physical, right? So they can be either intrusive, obsessive thoughts, or they can be physical, like taking a shower, washing hands, right? Avoiding some situation obsessively, double checking, triple checking something, right? Obsessively because they are afraid for their health. And from the physical symptoms, it can be sweating, heart palpitations, right? Brain fog. It can be anxiety, panic attacks. Panic attacks is like, the top of the mountain, right? Of your fight or flight mode, right? Because you're so fearful. Fears that will bring you into the fight or flight mode all the time. Hyperventilating, right? So this is overthinking, like, right? All the pain, muscle pains, headaches, fatigue. All of these symptoms can be really real. They're physical, they're real, you are in pain because of this psychological problem, health anxiety, right? How do the people behave with health anxiety? They usually are hard to make decisions, right? They, in many cases, act like a child. They're very childish, right? They are unreasonable, they cannot make decisions. They are complaining, either making excuses, victimizing, because they are in fear. It's nothing to blame them for. It's just a strategy that they developed, right, in the childhood, and they still carry it on, even if they're like 50 or 60. Sometimes, and in many cases, health anxiety can have a secondary benefit, right? Like seeking attention. So something that you don't understand, but your mind kind of came up with this hidden agenda for the problem. You want to get rid of that anxiety, but that anxiety gives you something like, excuse to not do what you need to do, not to make decision maybe that you don't want to make. So, hidden agenda is big in health anxiety, as well as in social anxiety, by the way. So the symptoms are very real. If the doctor is telling you it's all in your head, it's an anxiety. No, anxiety gives you real physical symptoms. And they are telling you not because they don't want to help you, it's just they don't know how to help you, right? They just are not trained in that. So this is really important to understand, not to blame doctors, nurses, or any other people, your parents, if you are younger, right? Not to blame them for that. They just don't know how to help, because the mental is something that you need to take charge of, to resolve, right? Like no one can resolve it for you because all the answers are within you, right? So the biggest fears in the health anxiety is the fear of cancer, according to the research, and the Pulse said that it's mostly a fear of cancer, fear of heart attack, and then goes fear of other diseases like infection, viruses, autoimmune disease, digestive system, right? Problems. But most often it's either cancer or heart attack because it's very sudden, right? And you don't know what's going to happen. What are the causes of health anxiety, right, of fear for your health? Is usually it is the childhood trauma, right, or the trauma that you received by losing a loved one, right, losing a best friend suddenly, losing a child, losing a parent, or someone in your family has been terminally ill, and you have been like witnessing that, right? That can trigger it. However, it can go even earlier in your childhood, right? Especially if your parents were overprotective of you. Don't go there. If you have like a little scratch, they will rush you into the emergency room. If your parents were it means that they had health anxiety, or they loved you so much, they loved you so much, they felt like they can't lose you, so they were trying to save you all the time, Even if you had like, some little small injury, they will still get huge deal about it, right? They will be freaking out, and you as a child looking at your parents freaked out because of just a scratch, or just like a little cut, you can form the belief, oh, that's really serious. If they are afraid, if they're so panicky, it means that it's life-threatening, that it's dangerous and I can die. Right? So children sometimes can form those beliefs when their parents have health anxiety or overprotective, right? A lot of uncertainty in life can lead you to have health anxiety. Why? Because you are fearful to die. The fear of dying, I made a video, please watch it. It's a big issue, and it's a cause for many other fears. So when I work with health anxiety clients, we usually go to fear of dying. Why? Because I haven't lived yet. That's what they say, right? Because I don't want to die because there is so much to lose. I have not enjoyed life yet. I hate my job. I hate my relationship. I haven't yet reconnected with my kids. I haven't been a good parent, right? I still want to do so much, and I don't know if I'm going to have time. So fear of death is a huge root for the health anxiety as well. Also, it can be overload of information. Remember, your mind locks onto negative things more often, more easily than onto the positive. It's just the way it is. Your mind wants to save you, so it will always lock onto the more negative stuff. So when you're listening to your friend who's talking about having a health issue, you will lock onto that negative part of it, So it's just because your mind wants to save you, so it always looks for danger, so that it can save your body and mind, right? So this is something that you need to work on. Why you are so focused on the negative things. It can have the root and the cause in your limiting beliefs, right, that you formed in the childhood. Also, you sometimes want attention. Anxiety has huge hidden agenda for attention, and it's because you haven't got that support or understanding, in early years, and then you carried it through your life as well, right? So these are the main causes of the health anxiety. Sometimes, and very often, you were at the funeral, or you were in the hospital. You work in the hospital. nurses, registered nurses, doctors very often have health anxiety, because they see all of these patients and people from cancer hospitals, they absolutely can have that as well, right? Because they see that a lot of people die, a lot of people don't make it, or they struggle a lot many years. They go into recession, but they relapse, so it's definitely causing the healthcare professionals to have health anxiety as well. So what can you do in order to release these symptoms, to relieve these symptoms, right? So first of all is reconnect with yourself. How to do that is to really reevaluate the most important things in your life. So write down the most important things in your life and start working on them. How much time you spend at your job that you don't like. How much your kids are playing video games because you are too busy with your stuff, right? And you're not connected to them, you're not connected to your partner, also can cause, right, this anxiety. So try to reconnect with yourself and with your community, family, friends, right? This helps a lot. Finding the hobby or activity that you like. Great help, amazing help. For some people, it even resolves the health anxiety overall, Also finding the root and the cause. Sometimes it goes from the limiting beliefs, not always, but in many cases. Health anxiety goes into the childhood, and you need to face those emotions and feelings again in order to transform them, to reframe them. It's this little wall that you need to break, and once you break that wall in your subconscious mind and you face the feelings that you have repressed, or the limiting beliefs that you have formed that you don't need anymore right now, everything becomes so much easier. You become clear in your vision, you become more calm, more relaxed, and you are looking forward into the future without the fear for your health. So I can help you do that. Absolutely. You can do it on your own. It can take time, but it's possible. If you want the more rapid, more, transformative method, my contacts are below. Please, in the description, right? Read about it. Read about hypnotherapy, what it can do for people, and how it can faster relieve the symptoms of your fears and phobias and anxiety or any other mental issue. So be healthy mentally and physically. Love you. Bye.